Hey guys, what's going on? It's Larry here again. Assisted stretching. It is very popular. Uh, it feels good. Um, it helps people, and it's an extra service for gyms and fitness pros. Now, this is a shameless plug. Uh, Leo Systems does have an assisted stretching program. We do perform that service. Um, Ours is slightly different than everybody else's, and I'll explain why in a little bit. We have been doing assisted stretching, namely I have been doing assisted stretching since 2002. So this is 2025, so close to 23 years I have been doing assisted stretching. It started out as structural alignment stretching because I was not allowed to use the word therapy as a personal trainer. We have to maintain, a separation of fitness training and medical professionals. It was under a different company name that I had, Lifestyle Dynamic Wellness Solutions, which is when I lived somewhere else. When I moved where I am now, I started Leo Fitness Systems, which branched off to Leo Systems, which is what I have today. But I have been doing the assisted stretching program well over 20 years. Now, I stopped marketing it in 2003 because I was hit with cease and desist. Basically, let's just get right down to it. Assisted stretching is manual therapy. It is. It's passive stretching, so we're putting clients through ranges of motion. We're physically doing it. We're hands-on. Now, personal trainers were never supposed to be hands-on. Well, we were in the beginning, and then I guess people got a little too comfortable with hands-on stuff, which led to other problems. So we basically backed off of that, and a lot of the certifications we're putting in ask permission before you touch anybody to put them into position, which is correct. You should always ask permission regardless. So a lot of medical professionals were getting upset with me because I was doing it. And they wanted the business because they were like, we can do that. Chiropractors were very big against me. But it wasn't just me. It was the industry. Personal trainers should not be doing manual therapy. Manual therapy is anything that involves joint manipulation and, opening of, like elongating muscle tissue, like massages and things like that. We have, licensing and structures for that. Chiropractors have that. Massage therapists have that. I think that's pretty much a bit who's going to do the hands-on. Physical therapists, those are all highly trained. You have to go to school for years for those. A personal trainer who gets their certification in a weekend should not have the ability to move people's bodies around manually. If we tell people how to do it like a yoga instructor does or a Pilates instructor does, that's a different story. Even as a personal trainer, if I tell you, hey, put your body into this position, feel this stretch here, that's different than me physically putting my hands on you. So I stopped doing it for a little bit. Then when I moved in 2005, I started doing it again locally because I saw, that was such a Long Island accent, by the way, saw. I saw a client of mine in pain, and I needed to do something about it. So I put them on the floor, ran them through a couple of little stretchy here, stretchy there. Oh my God, that felt great. That led to me getting a treatment table, carrying it with me, and working out with that client 3 days a week, and then stretching once a week. That client moved to 3 clients in the area, and I still have them to this day. And then we're talking 20 years later. But I did it kind of under the table because there was no recognition for a personal trainer doing that. Now, I've been doing it since 2002. The very first stretch center that came out was in 2004, and that was Stretch Zone in Florida. I believe that gentleman had a very similar thing. I think it was his grandfather saw. I'm gonna not hear that now. Experienced his grandfather having issues getting up, getting down, bending, moving to like grab things. He was getting up there in age, so he worked out a flexibility program with him. It's his grandfather; he could do whatever he want. And then started doing stretching with him, and then was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" Read up on it, did it more, and then that led to more people, um, and then led to him opening up Stretch Zone in 2004. So chances are he was doing it a couple of years before that too. Probably around the same time I started. And then got Stretch Zone in 2004, and then franchised it out from there. And it's huge. It's all over the world. 2014, a couple of personal trainers in California were like, "Hey, we can do assisted stretching too." Started doing it with their clients, and then Stretch Lab was born. Then ever since then, you have Stretch Zone and Stretch Lab are your two big ones. You have Limber, you have Stretched, but it's like STRCH, weird symbol D. I don't know. And then very smaller companies brought in their own. Lifetime Fitness now has a stretch program. Equinox has a stretch program. Massage Envy, the massage place where you can get monthly massages, now has a stretch. Well, they don't now. They've actually been looking for it in the past like 10 years. Has assisted stretching. So it's becoming very mainstream now. Now you can go online and spend anywhere between $400 to $1,500 to learn how to stretch people. It's becoming very, very popular. And now there is no question about personal trainers doing this. So I don't know if the legality changed or if it's more of an acceptance as, personal trainers, we work with people in their bodies. So now we're being allowed to do this. So I was thinking about it for a long time. I brought it back. I started promoting and bringing back my assisted stretching program in the last year. So I'm doing that. And then I was asked to review a stretch certification. So I did. And I'm not going to name it. And I'll tell you why in a second. Nothing bad. I did a stretch certification. It was if I didn't know what I was doing, it was informative. It didn't teach me anything I already didn't know, which is, I guess, fine. But I'm an experienced personal trainer with studies in anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, and kinesiology. So I've studied this stuff. This particular stretch certification, I think, sold for $358. Weird number, I know, but occasionally they have sales where you can get it for like $2 and change or like $197, something like that. But those are rare. Usually around the holidays, you can see them. And it's 100% online. Right there was my first red flag. If you're new to anything, like if you're brand spanking new and you're like, you know what, I had assisted stretching done to me. I liked it, so I'm going to go get certified in doing it. It's 100% online. And they tell you, oh, get a friend so you could practice on. But there's nobody overseeing the stretches to make sure you're doing it correctly. This is my problem with online only certifications. You have to go into the community and ask a question, but again, it's different than actually visualizing it, seeing it happen, and then being able to adjust right then and there. Anyway, the information was good. It covered pretty much everything, and then it covered a series of stretches. Now, they broke it up into different modules for like lower body, just around the knee area, lumbar area, neck area, and then they have a couple of ones like, oh, these are for athletes, and this is for whatever. The main sequence of everything together was almost movement by movement, the exact same thing I have been doing since 2002. It's kind of like I was watching myself do it. And I think the only reason that is because the human body has all the same muscles. We're all taught the same, you know, and you go within a logical sequence of how the muscle works. So it was just kind of funny when I did that. So I was like, ha, I know exactly how to do this. And we got to the next stretches. I was like, yep, been there, done that. Know exactly what that is. So I was like, all right, cool. So I was happy about that because that just laid, I think, you know, credibility to what I was doing over the last 20 some odd years, because now here's a big certification that is doing the exact same thing. So I was happy. So anyway, so you could do that. There's a bunch of them you could do online. Again, I'm a hands-on. If it's a hands-on program, it should be hands-on. You should have, whether it's just class of here's a bunch of, here's the floor, here's some treatment tables, partner up, let's go. And then run through the whole program. Run through your assessment, run through the program, and then switch. And then talk to each other. And then we, whether it's, you spend time going through the science of flexibility and stretching and all that stuff, that's a different story. But again, back in 2002, trainers weren't allowed to do this. So, we got in trouble. Now it's a mainstay, and apparently it's quite acceptable pretty much everywhere. But I understand the reasoning back then, why. Um, Trainers are not allowed to diagnose any medical condition or injury, and we should never do that because we're not that trained. Um, and manual therapy type stuff, physical therapy, massage, even assisted stretching, is used in treatment of a medical injury, condition, or whatever. So I see why they didn't allow us to do it. It's just upsetting now, 20 years later, that they're like, yay, everybody could do it. It's like, I don't know, did we loosen our control on these things, or did they just accept the fact that, well, they're doing it anyway, might as well? When I say they, I guess the licensing powers that be, I don't know. But assisted stretching is not going anywhere. Is it good? Yes. Is it the be-all, end-all? Absolutely not. There should be massive assessments done first and foremost. And then there should be some mobility and exercise, and then end on assisted stretching. That is your ultimate session. But that could take like 2 hours. I don't think anybody has time for that, nor the money for that. So assisted stretching does work. It does work as a business. It does work for trainers. It does work for clients. If done appropriately. Just like anything, it can be taken advantage of and done poorly and cause injuries. I remember in my own history, I stretched a client. His hip wasn't the greatest. He also didn't mention it. Just want to put it up there. And then I just grabbed the hip and I turned it into, externally rotated, turned it into a piriformis stretch, and he screamed in pain. I never felt so bad in my life. So, that's why communication is key. And an online training course, you have nobody to communicate with. So, like, immediately. So, anyway, assisted stretching is good. We should keep doing it. We should add it to our toolbox. Every professional should add it to their toolbox. Get a reputable one, or get one. Reputation really means nothing, actually, because I know some highly reputable stretching courses that are actually garbage, and they're ridiculously priced. So stretching is stretching. You're not going to do anything different than anybody else. So just like a treadmill's a treadmill, a dumbbell's a dumbbell, what warrants the higher price? I don't know. But everybody should do it. Everybody should get it done. And everybody should start feeling better. Alrighty? I like saying, if you train smart, you could live strong. That's the most important part now. If you have any questions about assisted stretching, shoot me an email, write a comment, whatever. actually working on our own certification. Yes, here comes another shameless plug. We are working on our own certification, considering that after doing a few, I realized that what I was doing 20 years ago was good. So I started putting it to paper. It's pretty much done. Just have to run through it and make sure it could be taught effectively in a single day. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. It's gonna be a long ass day, but I don't want to hold people forever. I hate that. I hate spending weekends where you do 9 hours in one day and then the second day is like 4 hours. Why? Why? Wasted time the first day, I guess. And a lot of this stuff could just be read up on and you'll understand. It's getting into the meat of it, of the hands-on work, I think is the most important part of anything. That's why it's only one day. It's mostly like we'll do a 9 hour, 10 hour day and 1 hour for lunch. So 9 hours worth of work, and like 7 of those hours are just straight up hands-on stuff. You'll learn. All right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again.